Hi, welcome to Barb's Kitchen. My name is Celeste and you're in my test kitchen. So today we're going to make a sourdough starter. If you can get some sourdough starter from a friend, that's a fabulous thing to do, and then all you have to do is feed it and grow it a little bit. But if you don't know anybody who has a sourdough starter in the back of their fridge, here's how you can make your very own. We're going to start with 2 cups of water, which is actually 2 cups of buttermilk, because we are going to add a 1/4 cup of our buttermilk powder. Buttermilk powder is a great thing to have in your cupboard because it means you don't have a whole lot of buttermilk dying in your fridge and eventually winding up stinky and gross. You just have to add a little bit of the powder. It's 3 tablespoons per cup of water. We have 2 cups of water here, so it's about a 1/4 cup of buttermilk. You want your water to be warm, but not super hot, so anything under 100 degrees or 100 degrees or less is what you're looking for. So if you want to double check it just to make sure it's not too hot. The cooler your water, the slower it's going to react. Yeast loves warm water and warm environments, so we're at about 90, 95. No, I won't put that away. I'll wash it before I put it away. So there we go. We have our buttermilk all mixed up and ready to go into our bowl. You're going to want to put this in a bowl that is fairly wide. So at least while it's starting to grow wild yeast cultures, it has a lot of surface area to collect them from. The next thing you're going to want to do is add just a wee bit of yeast. Because if you add just a wee bit of yeast, it's going to attract more yeast. And this is just half a teaspoon, and I'm using our surprise yeast, which we sell in little teeny tiny packages and will live for 2 years in your deep freeze and still be good. So it's guaranteed for 2 years. Then I'll add a tablespoon of salt. I know this is supposed to be sourdough starter, a tablespoon of sugar. I know this is sourdough starter, but yeast needs a little bit of sweet to start growing. And with the buttermilk and the yogurt we're going to add, it's going to make it really nice and sour like you were expecting it to be. And I need to find there it is. So 1/3 cup of yogurt, just plain yogurt, not flavored yogurt. You don't want vanilla sourdough bread. You want sourdough. So, and any plain yogurt is fine. There's no difference between Greek yogurt and plain yogurt, or Greek yogurt and everyday average yogurt that we're used to. And then 2 cups of bread flour. You'll see some recipes that call for rye flour, some recipes that will call for other types of flour, and that is perfectly acceptable, and it'll give your bread a different taste. If you want to start with just white and then you want to move to a rye flour, go ahead. It will make no real difference, but you do want a flour that has at least some gluten in it. You stir it all together and make sure it all needs to be wet. It does not need to be fully incorporated, because you're going to leave this sit on your counter for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 days. You'll want to see it start bubbling a little bit. And as this grows on the counter, I'll take some pictures, and Tony, our handy dandy cameraman who edits all of this stuff for us, will post the pictures with the video so you can see what it looks like after day 1, after day 2, after day 3. Once you know you have something growing, you're good to package it up and put it in the fridge. And before you use it, take it out a day or 2 ahead of time, feed it, and keep it on the counter and keep stirring it for a day or 2. And you don't have to stir it for a long time. Just when you walk by, give it a couple stirs and make sure that you have more wild yeast growing in your sourdough starter.
Please, teacher, how do we feed it?
How do you feed it? Well, when you go to feed your sourdough starter, you need to add 1 cup of flour and 1 cup of dairy. So 1 cup of buttermilk if you want it to be super sour, or just 2% milk. Whatever milk you happen to have in the house would be great. Even if you want to add more yogurt, go ahead and add more yogurt. Thanks for the question, Tony.